Hello students, I am Ritika Vajpayee, Assistant Professor at Axis Institute of Planning and Management. In the lecture series of Business Environment and Legal Aspects of the Business, today we will talk about the liberalization and the privatization. So, first of all, let me tell you that this policy of LPG, liberalization, privatization and the globalization has been introduced in the 1991 with the introduction of the new industrial policy. Okay, this we have to remember. Okay, now let us talk about the liberalization first. Liberalization refers to the laws or rules being liberalized or relaxed by a government, right. Economic liberalization is generally defined as loosening the government regulations in a country to allow for private sector companies to operate business transactions with fewer restrictions. Okay. Liberalization is what in general sense if we talk about the liberalization. So, whenever there is liberalization, there is relaxation in the rules. In simple terms, in the layman language you can understand, the liberalization in the rules and the regulations and the policies is known, the relaxation in the rules, regulations and the policies is known as the liberalization, right. So, when we talk about the economic liberalization, so under the economic liberalization, government actually government used to relax the rules and regulations for the private sector companies, and it actually helps in it actually helps the private sector companies to start their business and do the transactions and operate it well with a fewer restrictions, right. In relation to developing countries, this term refers to opening to their economic borders to multinationals and foreign investment. Okay. So, liberalization in the terms of developing countries is what? Opening of the economic border of an economy, okay, and opening of economic border of an economy to the multinationals and the foreign investment. So, whenever an economy will open its borders for the multinationals and the foreign investment, so the other the other countries can also come to your economy and can establish their operational and the marketing functions. Okay. Liberalization refers to the slackening of government regulations. Okay, it can also be said that it is this is what this slackening of the government regulations. It is the process of liberating the economy from various regulatory and control measures and the control mechanism of the state and of giving greater freedom to private enterprise. This is simply giving the greater freedom to the private enterprise. Liberalization has taken place almost in all the major sectors of the economy. Okay, now let us discuss the reason of liberalization. 1991 में जब न्यू इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी, न्यू इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी को इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया तो क्या ज़रूरत थी लिबरलाइजेशन को लाने की. The very first reason was, like, overall we can say the bad situation of the economy was the biggest cause or the biggest reason for introducing the liberalization. Okay. Okay, so in order to that, the first point is the balance of payment crisis in 1991 which pushed the country to near bankruptcy. So, balance of payment situation थी वो 1991 में इतने ज़्यादा खराब हो चुके थे कि हमारा जो इंडियन इकॉनमी थी वो इट वाज नियर द स्टेज ऑफ द बैंक्रप्टी. सो अगर लिबरलाइजेशन को वहाँ पे इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं किया जाता सो एग्जिस्टेंस हमारी इकॉनमी का ख़त्म हो जाता है, लाइक वी माइट बी बैंक्रप्ट. नेक्स्ट इज द रूपी डिवैल्यूएट एंड इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स वर फोर्स्ड अपॉन द इंडिया. रूपी का डिवैल्यूएशन काफ़ी हो चुका था 1991 में जो सिचुएशन थी, एंड इट वाज समथिंग which was not a choice for the India, but it was something which has been forced on the India, right, because it was it was not having another choice, otherwise the economy bankrupt हो जाती. So, the Indian Central Bank had refused new credit and the foreign exchange reserve had reduced to the point that India could barely finance the 3 weeks worth of the import. तो सिचुएशन इतनी ख़राब हो चुकी थी इंडियन इकोनॉमी की कि 3 वीक्स के इम्पोर्ट से ज़्यादा हमारे पास फिनेंसेस नहीं बचे थे। इंडिया के जो सेंट्रल बैंक थी, इट वाज नॉट हैविंग द फिनेंसेस इनफ टू सर्वाइव, right? And the last point was least FDI and the FII investment. 1991 तक हमारे इंडिया में जो FDI that is foreign direct investment and FII that is foreign institutional investment, ये बहुत ज़्यादा ही ना के बराबर थे, जिसकी वजह से ना ही टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफ़र हो पा रहा था, ना ही कैपिटल अवेलेबिलिटी हो पा रही थी, एंड एक्चुअली बिजनेसेस वर फेसिंग लॉट ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम. Okay, now let's talk about the advantages of the liberalization. So 1991 में न्यू इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी आई और लिबरलाइजेशन को इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया. अभी देखते हैं कि हमें क्या क्या प्रॉफिट हुआ एक्चुअली लिबरलाइजेशन को इंट्रोड्यूस करने से. द वेरी फर्स्ट इज डी लाइसेंसिंग ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज. As liberalization is what? This is relaxation in the rules and the regulations. So with the delicensing of the industries, government removed the excessive restriction in the rules and the licenses of the industries. ठीक है, जितने भी extra rules and regulations थे industries पे, वो उन सभी को remove कर दिया गया. और the liberalization removed the lengthy process of obtaining a license and it helped the people to open a new business in that industry easily. अभी किसी भी इंडस्ट्री से जब रूल्स एंड राइट्स बहुत सारे पॉलिसीज़ और प्रोसीजर्स एंड रूल्स को रिमूव कर दिया जाएगा, सो इट विल बी वेरी इजी फॉर न्यू बिजनेस टू इंटर दैट पर्टिकुलर इंडस्ट्री एंड स्टार्ट बिजनेस, राइट. सो इस प्रैक्टिस से क्या होगा, इट विल एक्चुअली प्रमोट द बिजनेस, राइट. So further, this help the economy to increase the competition and nation's performance, definitely. Okay, now let's talk about the next point, that is increase in FDI, increase in the foreign direct investment. So as I said in the reasons कि 1991 तक there were least FDIs and FIIs in the India. So with the introduction of the FDIs, it has actually increased the foreign direct investment, and removing this act also helps Indian business to take investment freely and quickly from foreign investors. India के पास अब ये राइट फ्रीडम आ गया था कि वो ईजिली फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर से अपने बिजनेस में इन्वेस्ट करा सकते थे, उनके साथ में कोलैबोरेट कर सकते थे, and which helps to expand the businesses. Foreign people can also invest without any permission from the government in the current situation, and foreign investors can invest up to 49% as the company's ownership should remain in the hands of the Indian. तो क्या सिचुएशन हो गई थी कि 49% तक इन्वेस्टमेंट को अलाउ कर दिया गया था. इट मीन्स किसी भी बिजनेस में अप टू 49% फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट किया जा सकता है. कोई भी फॉरेन की ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आकर 49% तक बिजनेस में इन्वेस्ट कर सकती है, बट स्टिल जो कंट्रोल है, जो ओनरशिप है, इट विल रिमेन इन द इंडियन हैंड्स, बिकॉज द जनरल लॉ सेज व्हाट, दैट द जनरल रूल सेज दैट 51% ओनरशिप जिसके पास है, दैट पर्सन इज हैविंग द होल एंड सोल कंट्रोल. सो केवल 49% तक ही अलाउ किया गया था, सो दैट 51% स्टिल इंडियन हैंड्स में रह सके. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट पॉइंट की अगर हम बात करें, इट इज़ इंक्रीजिंग इन द फॉरेन टेक्नोलॉजी. दिस रिजल्ट्स in effects to increase the import of foreign technology to use the advanced level of the technology, so the business can run effectively as well as efficiently. Okay, so जब हम foreign technology को involve करेंगे, there will be the advancement of the technology, so we can definitely do better in our business, right? We can provide the better quality of the products, better quality of the services to the customers, and this will this will advance the level of technology of our business, and it will help our business in it will help positively. Next point is the industrial location. As removing unwanted rules, now the Indian the company can set up the industrial location where the business can run effectively. अब चॉइस थी लिबरलाइजेशन के बाद में इंडियन कंपनीज के पास में कि वो कहाँ पे अपने बिजनेस को सेटअप करना चाहती हैं. दे कैन दे वर फ्री टू चूज देयर इंडस्ट्रियल लोकेशन एज पर देयर suitability. As before, it takes a huge time to take permission from the government to set up industry in the different location. लिबरलाइजेशन के पहले क्या प्रैक्टिस थी कि गवर्नमेंट से आपको यू हैव टू टेक द परमिशन फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट, सो इट वाज एक्चुअली अ लेंदी प्रोसेस, लाइक गवर्नमेंट विल आल्सो सी कि आप किस लोकेशन पे अपना इंडस्ट्री इस्टेब्लिश करने जा रहे हैं, व्हाट आर द व्हाट कैन बी what can be the positive aspects or what can be the negative aspect. Government will actually find out everything, and then after government will give you the permission. So that process was quite lengthy. So this was actually a negative point for the promotion of the business. So with the removal of that practice and with the freedom of the with the freedom of choice of industrial location, it actually helped the businesses to expand and establish in different locations. And what I believe that this point is actually helped is actually beneficial for the regional growth of the economy, the overall economy. The next point is the disadvantages of the liberalization. So under the liberalization, we what are the points that we have covered? The very first is delicensing of the industries. Second is increase in the FDI, that is foreign direct investment, and with the increase in FDI there was also increase in the FIIs. Okay. The next point was increasing in the foreign technology and the industrial allocation. Okay, these were few advantages of the liberalization. Now let us talk about the disadvantages of the liberalization. क्या disadvantages हुए? Positive points तो बहुत सारे नज़र आ रहे हैं हमको. जो पहला disadvantage था, it was increased dependency. As a result of the increase in the foreign trade, the nation goes dependent on on other nations' technology and their material, etc. So if any failure happens, so it can cause a huge loss to business in the nation. क्योंकि हमने फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट को भी अलाउ कर लिया था, वी वेलकम्ड दैट. सो we were getting the better technologies, we were getting the better material, we were getting we were actually updating in every terms. But if in case the business fails, तो अगर बिजनेस फेल होता है तो बहुत ज़्यादा लॉस होता है इन दैट केस बिजनेस को भी एंड ओवरऑल नेशन को भी, बिकॉज हमारा डिपेंडेंसी है, हम किसी से इंटर रिलेटेड हैं, कनेक्टेड होकर अपने बिजनेस को कर रहे हैं. सो दैट एक्चुअली that actually leads to the big losses. The second point is loss in domestic units. As a result of the increase in the foreign trade, the nations goes dependent on the raw materials, the technology, etc. So as it is very cheap from the foreign countries like the China, etc. So it causes loss to the domestic unit, as nobody wants to purchase the nobody wants to buy the domestic product. तो डोमेस्टिक यूनिट्स को यहाँ पे काफ़ी ज़्यादा लॉस हुआ, क्योंकि डोमेस्टिक यूनिट से परचेज़ नहीं करना चाहते थे लोग, बहुत ही ईजी हो गया था. इट वाज वेरी चीप टू परचेज द मटेरियल्स एंड द टेक्नोलॉजी फ्रॉम द फॉरेन कंट्रीज लाइक द चाइना. So no one was ready to pay high prices in the for the domestic products. So this was actually a big loss for the domestic units. The next point is unbalanced economy. This also comes under the disadvantages. Liberalization makes the economy an unbalanced economy, as if it makes it dependent on the other countries. In the fluctuation happens, if any of the fluctuation happens in the foreign economy, so it also makes fluctuation in the Indian economy, like in your particular economy. So there was actually it was actually disadvantages, because it it leads to the unbalanced economy. The next point is technology impact. Due to the fast or the rapid change in technology, many enterprises and the small companies faces the problem in adapting changes and upgrading technology, right? Like we can say there was a technology lag, and this technology lag was actually big. Okay, that's why it was a problem. Technology lag is what? Technology lag is the time which is required to adapt a technology, right? Or the technology imitation was also big. Technology imitation is what? जब भी कोई न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी मार्केट में इंट्रोड्यूस होता है तो उस टेक्नोलॉजी को कॉपी करने में जितना टाइम लगता है दैट इज़ टेक्नोलॉजी इमिटेशन. ओके, सो टेक्नोलॉजी इमिटेशन वाज आल्सो हाई. जो टाइम था इमिटेशन का दैट वाज आल्सो हाई. सो कहीं ना कहीं इसकी वजह से बहुत जितना रैपिड पेस पे अपग्रेड होने की रिक्वायरमेंट थी टेक्नोलॉजी लैग की वजह से और आपका टेक्नोलॉजी इमिटेशन में टाइम लग रहा था, इसके प्रॉब्लम की वजह से वो अपग्रेडेशन उतना फास्ट नहीं हो पाया. ओके, सो नाउ द न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी ऑल्सो मेक इट वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट टू एम्प्लॉयज़ फॉर एम्प्लॉयज़ टू अंडरस्टैंड. And this has actually increased the unemployment as well, because with the introduction of the technology now less manpower will be required, and when less manpower will be required and the technology will take their place, so what that workforce will do what? That workforce will remain unemployed. Okay, so after the liberalization, the next phenomena we are having is the privatization. In the series of LPG we have the privatization. Privatization is what it actually the transfer of publicly owned or the publicly operated means of production to the private ownership or operation. जब भी public owned properties को public owned operated business units को ट्रांसफ़र कर दिया जाता है प्राइवेट ओनर्स को. दिस इज़ व्हाट? दिस इज़ privatization. So privatization is actually a general process of involving the private sector in the ownership or the operation of a state owned enterprise. Here state means the government. Okay, so जब भी private owners को private players को involve किया जाता है government owned enterprises के ownership या उनके operation में, just remember that privatization is not only when you transfer the ownership. Without transferring the ownership, by the transfer of the operation, privatization is also possible, right? So privatization actually covers the three set of measure. One is your ownership measure, second is organizational measure, and the last is operational measure. Okay, so under the ownership measure, if we talk about the ownership measure, तो ownership measure में एज द नेम सजेस्ट ओनरशिप का ट्रांसफ़र हो रहा है. इट मीन्स जो गवर्नमेंट की प्रॉपर्टी, गवर्नमेंट के बिजनेसेस हैं उनकी ओनरशिप का ट्रांसफ़र हो रहा है पब्लिक प्लेयर्स को. इट कैन बी द 100% डी नेशनलाइजेशन, लाइक आप 100% पूरी तरह से 100% किसी भी स्टेट ओन्ड एंटरप्राइज को प्राइवेट हैंड्स में ट्रांसफ़र कर सकते हैं. देयर कैन बी ऑल्सो ऑप्शन फॉर द जॉइंट वेंचर, लाइक a 50-50 kind of the situation, and there can be the management buyout or like that. Okay, and there are organizational measures as well and the operational measures as well. So privatization is actually not merely the transfer of ownership of the government or the publicly owned assets to private hands, as I said. It is also refers to a process in which the major economic decisions concerning the production, exchange, distribution and the consumption are entrusted to the market forces, and the decisions are taken by a large number of the individual and private economic units. So as I said, that ownership transfer is not always a way of privatization, but the transfer of operational measures can also be the way of privatization, like the major decision. जब ये सारे जितने भी मेजर डिसीजन हैं रिलेटेड टू द प्रोडक्शन, एक्सचेंज, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, कंजम्पशन, जब ये सारे डिसीजन गवर्नमेंट ना लेके प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स लेते हैं और दे आर एक्चुअली डिसाइडेड बाय द फोर्सेस ऑफ द मार्केट फोर्सेस. सो दिस इज also a type of the privatization. Privatization entails freedom to own and operate business asset and take independent businesses decision, and this generally generates competition in the market, and the market mechanism takes care of the allocative function in the economy. Okay, so here we are having some examples of the successful privatizations in the India. Like we have in the list, first of all we have the Lagan Jute Machinery Company Limited, which is called as the LJMC. So the gross turnover pre-privatization was 6 million, okay, in the April-June 2000 before the privatization. LJMC का जो gross turnover था, it was 6 million only, okay. If we see the turnover after the privatization, so post privatization the turnover changed to 24 million, okay, from 6 million it has been changed to 24 million in the July-September 2000. Okay, the next example we are having is the Modern Food Industries Limited, MFIL, right. Okay, so the share value went up to rupees went up from 2,138 on 30th December from to rupees 3,247 to 25th Feb. So pre-privatization share value क्या थी? It was 2138, 2,138, and post privatization what was the value? It was 3,247, right. Okay, the next example we are having is the Pradeep Phosphates Limited, that is called the PPL. So net profit pre-privatization or the pre-sale was in the negative, it was minus 57.95 crores, and if we see the post sale it was 23.96 crores, okay. Now let us see the last example, the second last, we are having the Bharat Aluminium Company Limited, which is called as the BALCO, and we have the Hotel Corporation of India Limited, which is called as the HCI. So these are some examples of the successful privatizations in the India. Okay, now let us see the advantages of the privatization. The very first point is privatization helps to reduce the burden of the government, okay. Privatization से government का burden reduce हो जाता है. पहले government is the only responsible for taking all the decision, but after the privatization, private players who are who are actually holding the organizational measures or taking the ownership measures, they actually take all the decision, and it somewhere reduce the burden of the government. Next is it will help the profit making public sector unit to modernize and diversify their businesses, okay. Next is it will help in making public sector unit more competitive, okay. So public sector unit का competitions बढ़ जाएगा, वो और competitive होंगे, and as we have seen in the competitive environment कि whenever firms compete among themselves, so it is always beneficial for the customer, right. They will always try to win the competition, and for that purpose they will provide the better quality of the products, they will use the better technology, they will give you the better quality of the services as well, right. Next is it will help to improving the quality of decision making, because the decisions are free from any political interference. When there is private ownership, so decisions are always free from the political interference. Privatization may help in reviving sick units, which are the liability of the public sector unit. So what are the sick units? ऐसे units, ऐसे enterprises जिनके last 5 years का balance sheet loss में जा रहा है, ठीक है, they are called as the sick units. अगर हम इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसीज़ को उठा के देखें 1948 से 1991 तक की रिवाइवल्स को अगर हम देखें, सो बीच में बाइफर को इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया था. बाइफर स्टैंड्स फॉर द बोर्ड फॉर इंडस्ट्रियल एंड द फाइनेंशियल रीस्ट्रक्चरिंग. तो बाइफर का काम था वहाँ पे कि सिक यूनिट्स का रिवाइवल करना. आफ्टर द प्राइवेटाइजेशन भी हमको ये हेल्प मिलता है कि सिक यूनिट्स का रिवाइवल ईजिली हो जाता है. नेक्स्ट इज इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ, इंक्रीज इन द फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट एंड इंक्रीज इन द एफिशिएंसी. ओके, these are the advantages of privatization. Now let's talk about the disadvantages of the privatization. We have seen positive aspect, let's see the negative aspect. First is industrial sickness. Okay, industrial sickness is what? This is just like the home sickness, you know, like under the industrial sickness what comes, like कोई भी enterprise जब public ओनरशिप से प्राइवेट ओनरशिप में ट्रांसफ़र होती है, so people who are working in the public sector are having a mindset that they will get their remuneration on the time, they will be, you know, they will get the fair remuneration, they will get their incentive on time, they will enjoy all the benefits given by the government, and well the enterprise will privatize, so we will not get that benefits. So this is what, this is industrial sickness. Next is lack of the welfare, because when when it comes to the public enterprises, so always somewhere they forget the objective of social welfare and they focus on the cost, they focus on the the profit making. Next is class struggle. There is always a this feature is always present, the class struggle. The class struggle between the rich and poor always exists whenever it is a privatization, situation of the privatization. Next is increase in the inequality. Again, when the class struggle will be high, there will be increase in the inequality. Okay. Next is opposition by the employees. This opposition is why? Due to the industrial sickness. Okay. Problem of financing, increase in the unemployment, ignore the weaker section of the society. Again, this is related to the inequality, and ignore the national importance, right. So these are all the points which are related to the disadvantages of the privatization. Although privatization has helped the Indian economy a lot, but still there are some negative aspects which are related to it. Thank you everyone. So in that way we have covered the liberalization and the globalization. In the upcoming lecture we will cover the last part of the LPG series, that is globalization. Thank you.